say that she got receipts and proof that they actually was trafficking a woman, and also passed one off to their son King at one point. Said that she don't want to wake it up, and said that Tiny had to sleep with a whole bunch of women basically inside of Atlanta just to get T.I. to marry her. It's about to get messy. We know Tiny, T.I. and Tiny, you know, T.I. wife. Tiny wrote a post saying that basically they tried to charge Diddy for being freaky, as if she was in support of Diddy. Well, the accuser from before that said that T.I. and Tiny tried to like get her under the influence so they could do whatever they...
Question to you is, I found just a non-felony amount of weed in that ashtray in the back, as well as in that basketball sleeve. So I'm gonna go over here and talk to these guys, and someone has to get charged for this.
It's about to get messy again. The names T.I. and Tiny Harris are back in the headlines, and this time the accusations are darker, deeper, and far more personal than ever before. What started as a few cryptic posts on Instagram has turned into a full-blown firestorm, with claims of trafficking, coercion, and even allegations involving their son, King Harris. It's a scandal spreading across social media faster than wildfire, and everyone has something to say. Screenshots are being teased, receipts are being hinted at, and the court of public opinion is already in session. But before we jump to conclusions, let's unpack exactly how we got here, because this story didn't just appear overnight. It's been simmering for years, and now it's boiling over. It all began when a woman came forward claiming she had proof, not just rumors, not gossip, but actual receipts that T.I. and Tiny were involved in trafficking. Even more shockingly, she alleged that one of the women involved had been passed along to their 19-year-old son, King Harris.
That he went on to make songs about it and so forth and so on. That same silver gun that was on the table when he was arrested, that one silver revolver with the long nose on it was the gun that he put to my head screaming, "Bitch, I'll kill you, bitch, I'll kill you." We're gonna go truth for truth. Truth is, Clifford Harris put a gun in my head. Truth is, I didn't have a weapon. Truth is, I didn't call the police on him. Truth is, I didn't sue him and I could have. Truth is, I never spoke about this on the many times I could have spoke about it. That's the truth.
She went on to claim that Tiny, T.I.'s wife, had to engage in a series of humiliating acts and sleep with multiple women just to convince T.I. to marry her in the first place. The accusations were explosive, raw, and deeply personal, exactly the kind of scandal that social media loves to dissect.
Sabrina Peterson, who's been calling out T.I. and Tiny for years, just dropped a bombshell post. It all started when Tiny posted a shady message after Diddy's verdict saying, "They'll try to punish you for being freaky." Well, Sabrina was not having it. She fired back, saying Tiny should have stayed quiet, and claimed she's got receipts from a woman who says she was mistreated by Tiny, and even connected to their son, King Harris. And she made shocking claims Tiny did favors to secure her marriage to T.I.
Tiny Harris, for those who don't know, is more than just T.I.'s wife. She's a Grammy Award-winning singer, a reality TV personality, and someone who has built a strong brand centered on loyalty, family, and resilience. But that image started to crack when she made a comment online that many found distasteful. After Diddy's explosive legal verdict made headlines, Tiny jumped into the conversation with a post that read, "People want to charge you so bad for being freaky. It's nasty work." The post seemed lighthearted at first, but in the world of celebrity drama, context is everything.
Sabrina, she done with. I don't want a dime from you or XYZ, but if I gotta keep drawing this I gotta keep stepping away from my mother brand. I gotta keep stepping away from my weed and my weed jars. I gotta keep stepping away from my mother packaging. I gotta keep stepping away from my fundraising I'm supposed to be doing, my $12 million fundraise. If I gotta keep stepping away from my goddamn desk to answer these motherfucking calls, then bitch, you gon' then that's it is what it is. 7 days. Apologize and tell the truth.
Enter Sabrina Peterson, the same woman who, years ago, accused T.I. and Tiny of violence and misconduct. Sabrina reposted Tiny's words with a chilling caption that sent shockwaves through social media. "Lying on me was the beginning of your end." And just like that, the floodgates opened. Sabrina Peterson has a long and complicated history with the Harris family. Back in 2021, she made headlines after claiming that T.I. had pulled a gun on her during an argument. That single accusation sparked a wave of similar stories from others who alleged that T.I. and Tiny had a pattern of drugging, coercion, and assault. Dozens of individuals came forward with eerily similar accounts. The Harris family denied everything, but the fallout was immediate. TV deals collapsed, sponsorships disappeared, and their image took a massive hit.
She ain't talking about nothing about how she making tip. I said what I said. Why she ain't talking about how she done sucked? So why we ain't talking about that? Let's get into it. Yeah, y'all want to talk about that? Get into it. I'm trying to figure out why she ain't told y'all how much you know. Why she ain't told y'all about she wanted the women who used to go recruit them. What's up?
For months, they lived under a cloud of suspicion, forced to defend themselves against a growing chorus of voices demanding accountability. But after lengthy investigations, Los Angeles prosecutors ultimately declined to press charges, citing a lack of evidence and expired statutes of limitation. For many, that was the end of it. The couple seemed to bounce back, slowly rebuilding their empire. Tiny focused on her family and her business ventures, while T.I. returned to music and motivational speaking. But Sabrina Peterson never truly disappeared. She remained active online, occasionally dropping cryptic messages about truth and karma. And when Tiny posted that comment about Diddy, defending what many saw as predatory behavior, Sabrina saw her opening. She claimed she had been sitting on what she called the vault, a collection of receipts, photos, messages, and documents that allegedly prove everything she's been saying for years. She promised to release it all on July 19th, her birthday, and said that this time she wasn't just speaking out for herself, but for every woman she claims was victimized by the Harris family. In her latest posts, Sabrina says she's already handed evidence to federal investigators, but she also wants the public to see it. She called Tiny's post mocking survivors and accused her of using the term freaky as a cover-up for exploitation. She hinted that the so-called lifestyle that the T.I. and Tiny were defending wasn't about consensual adult fun. It was about control, humiliation, and manipulation. Sabrina also dropped a bombshell claim that Tiny had allegedly endured degrading experiences just to earn her place as T.I.'s wife. She claimed that Tiny's royalty wasn't built on love, but on submission, that the marriage was less about partnership and more about power. She even teased alleged text messages between King Harris and a young woman described as being trafficked, saying that the girl's family reached out to her legal team for help. As you can imagine, social media went into overdrive. Hashtags like #HarrisReceipts and #SabrinaSpeaks began trending within hours. Some people were convinced this was Sabrina's moment of vindication, while others accused her of trying to revive old, discredited claims to get attention. Regardless of which side you were on, one thing was certain: people were watching. Here's where the legal landscape gets interesting. In early 2025, Sabrina's defamation lawsuit against T.I. and Tiny was officially dismissed. The court even ordered her to pay nearly $97,000 in legal fees after criticizing her legal team's mishandling of the case. The judge's statement suggested that Sabrina's side failed to provide necessary evidence and missed critical deadlines, a serious blow to her credibility. But just when people thought that was the end, T.I. filed a countersuit, accusing Sabrina of defamation and claiming that she'd been running a coordinated campaign to destroy his reputation. Sabrina then countersued again, alleging that T.I. had publicly attacked her character and tried to damage her cannabis company, Pretty High Co. So now, what started as personal accusations has turned into a years-long legal chess match. Neither side is backing down, and both are determined to expose the other as the liar. But in the court of public opinion, the truth is often less important than the narrative. And this is where things take an even more unexpected turn, because now their son, King Harris, is in the crossfire. King, who's been making a name for himself as an artist and social media personality, found himself in headlines after a 2024 arrest in Georgia. While the body cam footage showed him calm and compliant, the internet immediately tied the arrest to Sabrina's latest claims. She alleges that King had an appropriate contact with one of the young women tied to the trafficking accusations. No evidence has been presented to prove that claim. But that didn't stop the online speculation. People began dissecting every social media post, every photo, every lyric, looking for clues. In an era where viral gossip spreads faster than verified truth, the Harris family's silence only fueled the fire. Tiny, always the protective mother, started posting cryptic messages on Instagram. Things like, "You can't build peace on lies," and "When you protect snakes, expect venom." Fans immediately started guessing who those quotes were aimed at. Some thought she was addressing Sabrina directly. Others wondered if there was tension within the family itself. What's clear, though, is that Tiny isn't rushing to defend T.I. this time. Her tone is quieter, more reflective, as if she's watching everything unfold from a distance rather than trying to control the narrative. Tiny's silence speaks volumes. In 2021, she was fiery and defensive, standing by her husband at every turn. She called out Sabrina publicly, denied every claim, and projected strength through unity. But now, she's choosing peace over confrontation. Or maybe strategy over emotion. To many fans, this feels like a shift in power. For years, Tiny's public identity was tied to T.I.'s. They were the power couple, the ride-or-die duo, the example of loyalty in the face of scandal. But now, with her son being dragged into this, and her own name back in the mud, Tiny seems to be choosing self-preservation. Some believe she's preparing for a bigger reveal, distancing herself before more information drops. Others think she's just tired of fighting the same battle over and over again. Whatever the reason, her restraint is fueling even more speculation. Meanwhile, the internet has turned this saga into its favorite form of entertainment. TikTok creators are making theory videos, gossip pages are comparing this to the Diddy and Epstein scandals, and everyone's asking the same question: how much of this is real and how much is just smoke? Let's step back and look at the facts. As of now, there is no confirmed federal investigation into T.I. or Tiny related to trafficking. No law enforcement agency has released any official documentation linking them to these new claims. The receipts Sabrina keeps referencing have not been verified by any reputable source. They're simply social media posts, screenshots, and self-published statements. In 2021, prosecutors in both Los Angeles and Las Vegas declined to file charges due to insufficient evidence and expired statutes of limitation. Legally speaking, the case was closed. Sabrina's defamation lawsuit failed. The Harris family has not been convicted or even charged with any trafficking-related crimes. But in today's culture, facts are often second to perception. Online, the narrative can shift overnight. A single Instagram story can undo years of public image. For Tiny, who's built her reputation on loyalty, motherhood, and resilience, this scandal is chipping away at everything she's tried to rebuild. And now all eyes are on one date. July 19th is when Sabrina Peterson says she'll release her so-called vault of evidence. She claims the files contain explicit content that can't even be posted on Instagram, and that what she has will change everything. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen, but the anticipation alone has kept her name trending. For the Harris family, that countdown is a ticking clock. If Sabrina delivers something real, verifiable proof, it could destroy their legacy overnight. But if her receipts turn out to be more smoke than fire, it could completely destroy her own credibility. However, it all began with one woman stepping forward, claiming that she had real receipts, actual proof that T.I. and Tiny were involved in trafficking. The allegations were already heavy enough, but she didn't stop there. She claimed that one of the women involved was passed off to their 19-year-old son, King Harris. She even alleged that Tiny had to sleep with several women just to convince T.I. to marry her. Those are serious claims, ones that could destroy reputations and careers if ever proven true. And as expected, social media wasted no time turning it into a circus. Within hours, every gossip blog, every YouTube channel, and every X, formerly Twitter, thread was filled with screenshots, speculation, and people trying to piece together the puzzle. But the real spark that lit this fire came from Tiny herself. After the Diddy verdict made headlines, she made what seemed like a harmless comment on Instagram. She wrote, "People want to charge you so bad for being freaky. It's nasty work." Some people saw it as a vague defense of Diddy. Others thought she was just talking about society's double standards when it comes to sexual freedom. But for one woman, Sabrina Peterson, it was personal. If you followed the story for years, you know Sabrina's name has come up time and time again in connection to the Harris family. And she's not one to stay silent when she feels wronged. Sabrina reposted Tiny's comment with a chilling message. "Lying on me was the beginning of your end." That single line sent shockwaves across the internet, and within hours, the entire situation exploded. Suddenly, Sabrina began posting cryptic warnings and claiming she was ready to reveal everything she's been holding back for years. She said she had receipts, messages, photos, even legal documents proving that T.I. and Tiny were involved in misconduct far worse than anyone could imagine. According to her, some of this evidence was so explicit that she couldn't even post it on Instagram. She hinted that she'd already turned over material to federal investigators, but she wasn't stopping there. Sabrina announced that on July 19th, her birthday, she'd be releasing what she called her truth drop, a full public release of everything she claims to have. That announcement alone was enough to get everyone talking. Hashtags like #HarrisReceipts and Sabrina Speaks started trending, and people began counting down the days to see what she would expose. For Sabrina, this wasn't just about drama. It was about revenge, redemption, and reclaiming a story she says was stolen from her. But to understand how deep this feud goes, you have to go back to where it all started. The history between Sabrina Peterson and the Harris family isn't new. In fact, it stretches all the way back to 2021, when Sabrina first came forward with allegations that T.I. had pulled a gun on her during an argument. That one accusation set off an avalanche of stories. Dozens of other individuals, mostly women, began sharing their own experiences, accusing the couple of drugging, coercion, and even assault. What followed was a media firestorm unlike anything the Harrises had faced before. Networks pulled their reality shows off the air, brand partnerships dissolved overnight, and the couple's once solid image as Atlanta's royalty began to crack under the weight of scandal. T.I. and Tiny denied everything, insisting that the accusations were false and that Sabrina was simply trying to destroy their family's name. They said the stories were inconsistent, exaggerated, and fueled by clout chasing. For months, they battled the court of public opinion, trying to reclaim their reputations. Eventually, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office reviewed the case but decided not to prosecute, citing insufficient evidence and expired statutes of limitation. That decision allowed T.I. and Tiny to begin repairing their image. They returned to their projects, showed a united front at events, and tried to move forward. But the shadow of those allegations never really disappeared. Now, here we are in 2025, and the feud has resurfaced with new energy. Earlier this year, Sabrina's defamation lawsuit against T.I. and Tiny was dismissed. The court even ordered her to pay nearly $97,000 in legal fees after her lawyers missed deadlines and failed to meet procedural requirements. It was a massive loss for her, legally, but it didn't silence her. Instead, she came back louder. She took to social media to declare that justice might have failed her, but the truth was still on her side. She began reposting old evidence, cryptic text messages, and teasers for her upcoming truth drop. Meanwhile, T.I. wasn't staying quiet either. He filed a countersuit, accusing Sabrina of defamation and claiming that she's been on a years-long campaign to destroy his career and reputation. Sabrina responded with her own counterclaims, accusing T.I. of harming her brand, Pretty High Co., a cannabis company she founded to empower women and survivors of trauma. What was once just an internet feud had now evolved into a full-scale legal war, one fought not only in courtrooms, but also in timelines, in captions, and through carefully curated Instagram lives. But what makes this latest chapter even more explosive is that their son, King Harris, has now been pulled into the chaos. King, only 19, has already had his share of public drama. From viral altercations to run-ins with the law, his behavior has kept him in the spotlight, sometimes not for the best reasons. In 2024, he was arrested in Georgia. Although the police body cam footage showed him calm and cooperative, that didn't stop social media from linking his arrest to Sabrina's claims. Sabrina alleged that she had messages between King and a young woman described as trafficked, claiming that the girl's family had reached out to her legal team for help. Now, there's been no verified proof that any of that is true. No screenshots independently confirmed, no police reports filed, no public evidence tying King to any misconduct. But as we've seen countless times before, the internet doesn't wait for proof. The moment a screenshot appears online, people form opinions, and narratives take on a life of their own. In the court of social media, perception is everything. Tiny, fiercely protective of her children, has responded in her own way, not through interviews or statements, but through cryptic Instagram posts. One story read, "You can't build peace on lies." Another said, "When you protect snakes, expect venom." Fans instantly began dissecting her words, trying to guess who she was talking about. Many assumed it was directed at Sabrina, while others believed it could have been aimed at someone else entirely. Either way, it added fuel to an already raging fire. What's particularly interesting is how different Tiny's approach has been this time compared to 2021. Back then, she was vocal, speaking out, doing interviews, and directly defending her husband. Now, she's choosing silence. Some believe it's a calculated move, that she's learned feeding the chaos only makes it worse. Others think it's a sign that something deeper might be happening behind the scenes. And then there are those who see it as exhaustion, a woman who's simply tired of having her family's name dragged through the mud every few years. Sabrina, meanwhile, has shifted her focus in a new direction. Instead of just going after T.I., she's now targeting Tiny directly. She's accused Tiny of performing degrading acts just to keep T.I.'s love and attention, painting their relationship as one built on manipulation and control. None of these claims have been verified, but they've reignited conversations about the couple's marriage, which has long been the subject of rumors about infidelity and unconventional dynamics. People are revisiting old clips, old interviews, and old gossip, trying to make sense of what's real and what's not. T.I. and Tiny have faced their share of challenges over the years, from cheating scandals to legal troubles, but they've always managed to bounce back. Yet this time, the situation feels heavier, darker, and more personal. The stakes are higher, and now that their son is part of the conversation, the consequences could ripple through their entire family legacy. For nearly 2 decades, they've built an image around loyalty, unity, and resilience. But that image is being tested like never before. Sabrina Peterson continues to insist that her motives aren't about fame or revenge. She says she's fighting for justice. She's claimed her vault contains messages, photos, and official documents that will prove everything she's been saying for years. She's teased that other celebrities are implicated too, hinting that once her truth drop happens, multiple names could come out. Whether that's true or not, it's already enough to keep the internet on edge. Every time she posts a cryptic message, it trends within minutes. Still, the fact remains, as of right now, there's no official federal investigation into T.I. or Tiny for trafficking or coercion. No new charges, no verified filings, no police involvement. The only evidence in play is what Sabrina has chosen to share on social media, and that raises serious questions about credibility. Are these real receipts, or are they carefully curated pieces of a much larger narrative? In today's digital world, perception spreads faster than proof ever can. All it takes is one viral post, one sensational headline, or one clip taken out of context, and suddenly the court of public opinion becomes judge and jury. For celebrities, that's the nightmare. Because once a narrative catches fire, it's almost impossible to put out, no matter how much truth you tried to inject afterward. Tiny has always been known for her loyalty. Through T.I.'s arrests, controversies, and public scrutiny, she stayed by his side. She's built her public image on being a ride-or-die wife and a devoted mother. But this time, the question hanging over her is different. Does loyalty still come before peace? At what point does defending your partner start costing you your own sanity, your own reputation, your own legacy?
This round of allegations feels like a breaking point. Sabrina's truth drop has become one of the most anticipated moments in gossip culture. The timing, the tension, and the public's appetite for drama have all created a perfect storm. It could end with real evidence that changes everything, Or it could be another internet spectacle that fizzles out once people realize there's nothing substantial behind the smoke. As of now, all eyes are on July 19th. Will Sabrina actually deliver the proof she's been promising, or will this turn out to be another case of sensational claims with no solid follow-through? Whatever happens, one thing's clear. The Harris family drama isn't over. It's only evolving. Each new post, each cryptic message, each comment adds another layer to the chaos. And in the age of social media, outrage equals engagement, which means this story isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Either way, the internet wins. The clicks, the views, the debates, they all feed the cycle. This isn't just about truth or justice anymore. It's about engagement, and every new twist in this saga fuels the machine. At the end of the day, we have two very different stories. On one side, you have Sabrina Peterson, a woman who says she's seeking justice, claiming she spent years fighting to be heard. On the other, you have the Harris family, wealthy, powerful, and determined to protect their name from accusations they say are nothing more than lies. And caught in the middle, a son, a family, and a public that can't look away. In the era of social media, you don't need evidence to destroy a reputation, just engagement. Every post, every comment, every repost adds to the chaos. For Tiny Harris, the woman who once stood by her man through everything, the question now is, how much longer can she stand in the fire before she walks away for good? Because this time, it's not just about celebrity gossip or old grudges. It's about legacy, family, and survival. And as that July 19th deadline looms closer, one thing is certain. The Harris family story isn't over. It's just getting started. So what do you think? Is Sabrina Peterson about to expose something real, or is this another viral drama spiraling out of control? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure to subscribe, because when those receipts drop, we'll be here breaking it all down. Until next time, stay smart, stay safe, and remember, in the age of social media, perception is power. Did Tiny just uncover a secret that could destroy everything she's built with tea? The internet is buzzing, the rumors are spinning out of control, and this isn't just another celebrity scandal. What started as whispers on social media has now escalated into a full-blown storm, shaking fans, influencers, and industry insiders alike. Reports are now surfacing that Kandi Burruss's daughter may be connected to T.I., and the revelation has left Tiny and Shekinah reeling. Social media exploded overnight, with hashtags like Shekinah reveals and T.I. scandal trending worldwide. Screenshots, cryptic messages, and alleged insider leaks flooded every platform, leaving fans scrambling to dissect every detail. For weeks, Shekinah had been caught in the crossfire of gossip, already under intense pressure after a previous DNA leak. Now, with this latest bombshell, the weight of betrayal, heartbreak, and relentless public scrutiny threatens to crush both women completely, leaving them isolated and vulnerable in ways no one could have predicted. The morning after Shekinah's viral video, Tiny's world exploded. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Notifications poured in from every corner of the internet. Screenshots, forwarded messages, cryptic tweets, and alleged insider tips, all pointing toward a connection no one could ignore. Kandi Burruss's daughter and T.I. Tiny's heart pounded as she scrolled, disbelief and horror mixing into a bitter cocktail that left her almost paralyzed. Every new detail felt like a punch to the chest, a stark reminder that her life, her marriage, and her carefully curated family image could unravel in an instant. She tried to breathe, to focus on her children, but the chaos had seeped into every corner of her life. Even their laughter felt distant, replaced by the relentless intrusion of a digital storm she couldn't escape. Meanwhile, several miles away, Shekinah sat in a dimly lit apartment, phone in hand, trembling. For weeks, she had carried secrets she thought were never hers to bear, believing she could protect herself by staying out of the spotlight. Yet here she was again, thrust into the eye of a storm not of her making. The world had already blamed her for the previous DNA leak, and now whispers suggested she had been involved in this latest revelation too. Each ping, each buzz reminded her of how exposed she was, how powerless she felt as the court of public opinion rendered judgment faster than any evidence could emerge. Fear gnawed at her. Anxiety weighed her down. She was trapped in a digital cage, every notification a reminder that her life too could unravel in a matter of minutes. Tiny's closest friends tried reaching her, but she ignored most of them. Her mind raced, trying to process every snippet of information, every rumor, every screenshot. And even when she attempted to focus on her children, their presence couldn't pierce the fog of panic clouding her thoughts. She thought of T.I. pacing silently through his mansion, fully aware of the storm brewing online, and felt an almost physical separation from him. For Tiny, this was no longer about viral gossip, headlines, or trending hashtags. This was deeply personal. Betrayal made flesh, private pain made public, and emotions that were now being dissected for millions of strangers to judge. The social media reaction was immediate, brutal, and merciless. Fans began combing through every old interview, every cryptic post, and every decade-old photograph, desperate to find proof of the alleged connection. TikTok videos went viral in minutes, each claiming to have uncovered the truth. YouTube commentators dissected body language, facial expressions, and tone, speculating on who knew what and when. Instagram threads exploded with conjecture. Every post, every comment, every rumor felt like another knife slicing through Tiny's already fragile sense of security. The chaos didn't stop. A private message arrived in Tiny's inbox claiming to contain more information, accompanied by blurry screenshots allegedly linking T.I. to Candy Boris's daughter. Tiny stared at them, sweat beading on her forehead. The images were unverified, but the implication was catastrophic. She felt cornered, trapped, and powerless, watching the narrative spin out of control while she remained at its center. Inside Tiny's home, the tension was suffocating. She had asked everyone to leave, seeking solitude to process the avalanche of information, yet even alone, she felt the walls closing in. Every notification, every mention of the scandal online felt like a fresh stab to the chest. Her mind replayed years with T.I., every smile, every apology, every public display of unity, and wondered if any of it had been genuine. Meanwhile, T.I. stayed silent in public. Insiders claimed he was furious behind closed doors, pacing through his mansion, consulting lawyers and PR teams, desperately trying to manage the fallout. Yet in the court of public opinion, the story had already taken on its own life. Every denial, every carefully worded statement only fueled speculation, and fans weren't waiting for confirmation. They were creating their own narratives, each one more sensational than the last.